Hello and welcome to R&R Talks. I am Clint Robison and I will be your guide through this journey of everything independent film related. Sit back and listen to me as I interview various people involved in the film industry, do some movie reviews, and have some great generalized discussions. Thank you and enjoy. So, everybody, thank you for joining me today on this very special episode of R&R Talks. I am talking today with Casper Alexander, Martin Davis, and Terry Weatherly. How are you guys doing tonight?
Awesome. Yeah.
You might be wondering why I have three people with me when usually I keep this to one-on-ones besides my monthly group conversation. Well, we have decided here at R&R Productions that we're going to start promoting our feature film, ParaGenex, Shadow of the Mind. If you're not following that, just look it up, ParaGenex, Shadow of the Mind, on the group section of Facebook. Go and join the group. It's our first fully funded feature film that's going to be crowdfunded. And these three happen to be cast members. Martin is playing Paul, who I guess you could describe as almost like a Yoda or Obi-Wan figure in the film. Well, I think that comes across proper.
Yeah, I think so. I'm always trying to teach or provide knowledge to my contact Toby. So yeah.
Terry, who's playing the villain, Maxwell Burgess, he's calls himself Pharaoh. He's got a god complex. I think you could say that that's pretty accurate.
Oh, Terry, you know. I do some things I'm not gonna deny.
and then Casper, he's kind of got a smaller role towards the end of the film, but he's got a major role in the production in general. He is in charge of building the soundtrack for the film. We're actually going to have an original soundtrack. We're keeping, I'd say, most of the artists sourced from the Midwest. I think we have one artist out of the Massachusetts area that we're in talks to. Nothing's confirmed yet. But, you know, his character's going to be major in future films. That's right. There's going to be multiple projects. We don't know the number yet because first we got to get through this one. So let's get through number one before we start worrying about two and so on. So after that introduction, just like, how you guys doing tonight? I know I already asked that, but like, how you feeling? How you feeling about the project in general?
Well, so far for me, I've done the 2 table reads via Skype, and I'm feeling real good because now I got a chance to meet the rest of the cast, got a chance to hear the flow of the story, at least, you know, through a table read. So I'm feeling good. These last 2 nights have been, eye-opening. I'll put it that way.
I mean, it's been pretty. I mean, your guys' reaction to the script has made me feel so good about my writing. Besides those minor typos we've found, but you know, typos happen all the time. Autocorrect. But I really enjoy the fact that you guys like the story, and like Terry was just saying right when we went live, that he really enjoyed the script to go back a couple times and be like, oh, dang.
Yeah, it's got some interesting peaks and valleys and turns and twists. Like, that's what I think intrigued me about the project.
So, like, how would you describe the film? Because I know I keep saying it's a drama, it's got a superhero thing, it's kind of got some horror, it's kind of got some thriller. Like, it doesn't really fit into one mold in my own mind. And I'm the one that wrote it.
I would tell you it perfectly fits into my imagination. If anybody that really knows me would be like, that guy. But the way it was going, I was like, his mind was doing 360s. He was here, but all of it came here. And I'm like, I like that. Because usually people, like, the threads don't connect enough. He's like, well, but I can see you thought about it. And, like, it came more of a, you know, it was a situation you had in your head, like, so how would it?
Well, I'm glad you bring that up because a lot of it's a parable from my life. You know what I mean? And a lot of writers are like that. Basically, I wrote Toby like myself. Originally, I was going to cast myself as Toby, and then I was like, I'm not a strong enough actor for this, so I need somebody else. I got like 10 pages in, and I was like, I can't do that. I know myself. And like my family, I personally don't, but my family struggles with addiction, and that's where Toby comes from. A lot of the men in my family struggle with anger problems, which is where Lawrence comes from. Now, all these characters are extremes of those, you know, extremes of anger, extremes of addiction, and then every person has that dark part of themselves they don't want to confront. And I kind of designed Maxwell and Paul to be the confrontation of the dark side inside yourself and the embracing and ignorance of the dark self that you have, you know what I mean? So that's kind of like what your two characters are those two parts of that inner struggle, that yin and that yang, that you need to come into acceptance with. And then I built, because the yin and the yang, they have the dots too of the white and the black. So I also built Toby and Jacob to be those two people inside of that as well. So it's like all this, just like pretty much every character except for Sam and Eleanor could be defined as part of myself. Those two characters are actually people, I won't say names, that were in my life egging me one way or another. So, okay. And then we also have the supernatural aspect of it, which didn't happen. Nobody in my life has superpowers. I will not confirm nor deny.
Not that you know of.
I can't confirm or deny that. I signed an NDA.
I think that's why I considered it more horror drama than I did even, I guess, like superhero. Now maybe supernatural.
Yeah,
I'm more into that than it's
well, some of the stuff that Terry's going to be getting up to in the film, I wouldn't title it superhero. Definitely some horror drama at the end. What? Yeah. That the park scene. That's all we'll say. Between you and Paul. Okay. Yeah. I would definitely call it supernatural horror at that point.
Right. Yeah.
I like this, the psychological side of it. I definitely think that for me, in general, when it comes to watching films, let alone being part of films, I really like to pay attention to like the psychological part of it. So I definitely am excited to kind of watch those struggles within the characters and the resolutions that come with it, or non-resolutions that come with it. And so, and then with the writing, for me as a musician trying to write the songs, it was really like, man, I have to dig a little bit for myself and pull out some darkness, and then also find those artists who already do that anyway. And so I think that we're about to have a real fun time with the soundtrack, and just everything that's gonna go along with it's gonna be fun. We're gonna get into more than just, it's gonna be fun. You're gonna love it.
Oh, from what you've shown me so far, samples of those artists' work and stuff, like, it sounds like it's gonna be a pretty awesome soundtrack. And like the fact that we got Terry involved in the writing of his character's theme song is also gonna be pretty awesome. Like that you get to write your own character's stuff. It's gonna be awesome. Because as an actor, you're gonna already be in the mindset of that character. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna enjoy that a lot, and I'm actually gonna probably sit in the studio with you guys when you're making the music too, like a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Me and Terry actually worked on a song,
and I still listen to it. I just listened to it on my way home from work.
I think that was the second song we ever worked on together, I believe. But it's just like I don't know where I'm going in my career. It's kind of fun to be able to work with artists in this realm, because it feels more beneficial for all parties.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
And what's awesome is not many indie films end up getting an original soundtrack built for their own stuff. They usually go and get, like, you know, already made music, and like the fact that stock music or royalty-free songs, or they go and pay like cheap royalties, and the fact that we're not only building our own soundtrack but promoting indie musicians and like using this as a platform to help them and as the platform for them to help us. I really enjoyed that. And like I didn't even think about that until I realized after our interview, Casper, I was just like, he's a musician and he's in my thing. And then you talked to me about like the soundtrack and all that, and I was like, you know what? That's an awesome idea. How about instead of one song, we do like a whole project? Like,
yeah, the soundtrack, that was all you. I just kind of was like, I was watching this thing on Nightmare Before Christmas, and I didn't know that the script was around the songs.
Mm-hmm.
The songs came first. And so it was something I was watching. I forgot what it's called. It's something on Netflix, but I was watching it and I was like, man, like this is really like, it just made me, I was inspired. I was like, dude, I'm going to ask Clinton tomorrow. He's going to probably say no, but I'm gonna...
I mean,
ask, you think about a song. He's like, oh, that's a great idea, man. You know what? Let's do a soundtrack. I was like, all right.
all right, we took it from one to a full soundtrack. Cool. And I mean, the thing is it's not just going to be like hip hop. It's not just going to be rock. We're picking like from what I've seen, we have almost every genre of music in this project, and like multiple subgenres within. Like we have different subgenres of hip hop, different subgenres of rock, different subgenres of even EDM. We have like different types of EDM artists we're looking at. So like I think that's what's going to make it great, because each character in the film has their own vibe personally. You know, everybody has their own costuming, every character has their own personality, and the fact that we can go ahead and push that personality out further through the music. And then plus we have Nick Daniel making an original score for it as well. So not only do we have like actual like music you can listen to in your car, you also have orchestral music that's going to be put in as well. And I feel like that alone is going to push this project, not to toot our horn or anything, a little further than like the other films in our community.
All I know is that music, especially the score within the movie, is crucial. Because I've seen some people ruin a scene with the wrong music, like totally ruin it. And I'm like, what? Why? Like sometimes you even question, like, why would they put that track on that section or that scene? So it's a critical job to really make it all gel and make it work.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And we've got a great team on sound. I mean, between Casper, Nick Daniel, and then Dan Johnson, who's doing our editing, but like editors go hand in hand with your audio editors and your soundtrack artists. Between the three of them, we're set on sound, you know.
Cool.
Like we've got, I mean, Casper's a great artist, and then Terry's a great artist for his own personal song. Nick Daniel, he's a man beyond what he belongs being. He doesn't belong being here. He belongs in Hollywood. To be honest, he doesn't belong working with indie films. He needs to be on bigger projects. And that's how I feel pretty much with our entire team. Like, I feel like it's a great team. Cast-wise, crew-wise, it's going to be a great film. And normally I'm like, it's going to be an okay film. It's going to be all right. And people bump me up. But, like, it's going to be a great film.
I can tell.
I've got nothing but positive feedback, and I really enjoyed the fact that I got you guys, like, the fact that most of these people I've worked with before, and then the ones that I haven't, like, just, like, the right person happens to answer at the right time. You know what I mean? Like, Martin, you were the first person to audition for your role, and I was just like, sold.
Well, I always try to deliver it, like, I learned from a guy named Joseph Perlman. He's my teacher, I'll put it that way. And he says, when you audition for a role, you got to piss on the role. Like, you do it so that the director can't even imagine anybody else doing it. And that's how I try to do all my self-tapes, all my auditions. Even if I throw things around and change a word up a little bit here and there, I want you to go, I can't even imagine anybody else doing it like that guy. That guy was crazy. That was intense, or whatever the scene is, you know.
Well, I really appreciate that. Like, you sent in two. You sent in a second one. You're like, I felt like doing it a little different, so I went ahead and did it. There you go. And I was like, that shows dedication right there. The fact that he was like, you were thinking, you didn't do what some people do. You do the self-tape, you send it back, and you're like, I messed it up. I'm not going to come back and fix it. You're like, no, we're doing take two, guys. We're doing a second one. And I was like, you know what? That's ambition right there. I love that. And like Terry, he almost stole your role today, man. Like he read your lines, and I was just like, oh man, how do you feel playing both Paul and Maxwell?
Yeah, it was so funny. I was like, well, I can't do both. I said, I'm sure my man will do it good, because you're the boss guy, so I could come off like a boss. I was a boss 30 years in security, so when it comes to playing a boss, a cop, mafia, I got that locked down. So, but I like this role of Paul because I'm more like teaching Toby how to survive this craziness going on around him. So this is a cool role. I love it.
Yeah, it's definitely that Obi-Wan vibe, but like I thought you'd get a kick out of that, Terry. He read your lines and everybody was just sitting there like
Like, hold it.
You'll be all right, bro.
Yeah.
How long you been acting, Martin?
Oh, funny story. I've been acting 2 years. My 9-year-old has been acting 5 years. I got into the business because of taking him to auditions and callbacks. He's got speaking lines on Chicago PD. He's doing this. And so I said, man, I'm going to retire soon. I did 30 years in security, and I'm 55. I said, I'm going to try my hand at this. And it just skyrocketed. I'm telling you, my wife cannot believe how many roles I've been in, voiceover, commercials. I'm going, this is great. So it's a whole nother life for me, man.
I don't like to hear that story. It's probably
That's
years don't get it. Working 40 years, I don't get it. It's hard, man. I just wanted to ask you that because I'm like,
oh, no problem, man. People can't believe it, but I think what helps me is I already did my life, like, so this is like a second career. So for me, I walk in a room, I'm real calm. I don't give a fuck. I do what I want.
that's true.
You like me or you don't. And so either you love me or you don't. And I'm cool. I'm eating every day, so I'm straight. That's the way to be. I'm telling you, if you want to be an actor, try to have that kind of mindset. You go in the room like, hey, what's up, everybody? This is what I do.
I've posted.
Hey,
Go ahead.
hey, I'm a young dude, and like you perfectly explained my mindset when I walk in. So I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna do what I'm doing, and that's what it is. Like,
I mean, I've
that's
posted.
what I'm talking about.
I've posted about that on Facebook before. I'm like, if you want to make it in the entertainment industry, you have to have that I don't give a fuck attitude. And I said that. I was like, if you don't have the I don't give a fuck attitude, you're not going to make it because you're going to be constantly worried about what everybody else thinks. And
You just named it. You have to make choices that you want to make. I'm not trying to please you. This is what I want to do with the role because you didn't tell me what to do with it. So I'm going to give it to you my way. Now you might say, well, tone it back or but nobody will do that role like I'm going to do it because it's in my head. Yeah.
That's you. And like you need to be that as a director and a writer. You can't worry about like with this script. Schizophrenia is a weird topic. It's a topic people are really sensitive about. Abuse is a sensitive topic. Addiction's a sensitive topic. But this is all stuff I deal with. Not schizophrenia, but I do have personality disorders. So, like, it's something I deal with. So I'm like, I don't give a shit what you think. This is my script. Take it or leave it. You don't want to watch it. I'm sure there's something else you can watch that's not so triggering. Like, I'm sorry. And, like, it's not like it's a triggering thing anyways. You know what I mean? Like, this script, you can read it as anything else. But that's the topic it's about. And this industry, as a writer or director, you have to make those decisions that you're like, I don't care what you think. This is my thing.
This is my art.
And I think that's why this past year, I've only been directing a year. I've only been writing scripts for a year. Can you guys believe that?
Get out of town.
This is 1 year. And I'm now at the point where I can almost do this full time. I can quit my job and just, Uber Eats or Postmates or Instacart if I need extra money. You know what I mean? And it's because...
For that.
What'd you say?
You dedicated yourself to that, though.
Yeah.
To make that happen.
You have to dedicate yourself. You have to be like, I don't give a fuck what you think. If I spend 20 hours at this computer sometimes just doing work for this stuff, and then I work my full-time job at the same time, You got to find a way to make it work. And a lot of people are going to be like, you're wasting your life, you're wasting this. You're spending all your time at this, you know what I mean? And it's just like, well, that's what I want to do. I don't look at it as work. It's fun to me.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
Like,
I love getting up and going to set.
Like, some of the best people I've ever met are film people. And that's because we all share one thing in common, this passion that people spit at. You know what I mean? Like, even to this day, people will watch those $50 million Disney movies and then spit at people that want to make movies. It's like, pick one. You spend $100 at the movie theater, but you won't spend 5 minutes watching my short film. I get it, man. That's cool.
It's a very confusing world in that sense because there's like all we do is consume. All we do is consume music. We consume TV. We consume. That's all we do. But when you are around people who are trying to make you something to consume, you're like, oh, I don't think you can make that. I don't think you can do that. I don't understand why people are like that. I mean, and it's honestly, well, I would say on a psychological level, it's just something that they're battling on their inside because they want to probably do it, or whatever they want to do in life, they're not doing. So you really like, that's just me being like, my psychological side of thinking is just like, fuck them. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Nothing else you can do. All we can do is work and do what we like to do. And you can sit on the sideline and be like, damn, wow, he actually did make it. You know, like, I can't believe it. Or
I mean,
it's okay. It's all right.
I mean, I love that all of us have that I don't give a fuck person. That's the best mentality.
Man.
That's the only way to do it. Now,
there's levels.
There's levels. I mean, you have to care about certain things.
Yeah, you got to put in the work. Yeah, you got to be prepared, but don't be afraid to make a bold choice. Right. Like Joseph Perlman, my guy, he said, make a bold choice. Don't do it the way the other 9 people are going to do it. Do it a way that goes over, stays in the lane, but you give it to them something like, damn, I didn't even think of them doing it like that.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by that is like, don't care about being like somebody else. Don't care about doing this like somebody else. Do it your way, because you're the only one that can make your art your way. We don't need more Tom Hanks. We don't need more Mel Gibson. We don't need more Denzel Washingtons. We need more, Martin Davis. We need Terry Weatherly. We need Casper Alexander. We need Clint Robison. We need all these people that are them, because you're the only person that can play Paul like you. You're the only person.
And that's what I want. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah, and like Casper, you're the only one that can make the music you make, and Terry, you're the only person that can make the music you make, and both of you are the only way you can act your characters. I'm the only person that can write like I write. You know what I mean? And like sometimes that sounds a little arrogant when I say my own thing, but you guys all know I'm not arrogant. I don't think well of my own things, but.
But you write what you know. You write what you live. Nobody's lived your life. Nobody's walked in your footsteps. So you're always going to come different. Like I come different on Maxwell, then he's going to come different on Maxwell.
Yeah.
I played my idea what I thought Cross would be.
Yeah. But I like getting into this because all 3 of your characters are completely different than your natural personalities, and I just find that so interesting as somebody that wishes he could be a good actor. Like, I can only play a character that would be like me. That's the only thing I can do, because I can't think emotions I don't have at that moment, you know what I mean? And I feel emotions strongly, so when I force myself to feel an emotion, it gets distracting. Yeah, or I overstep and go past what the director wanted. You know what I mean? Like, I find, because Martin, you're so different than Paul in weird ways. You know what I mean? Because the character of Paul is this bitter, beaten down man that's just trying to create a better world. And here you are, you're like, I'm happy, I'm 55, I'm retired, I'm doing my dream, my kid's making money off of acting, I'm doing great.
And you know what's funny, Clint? When you first heard me do Paul, you were like, "That's not how you sound," because I brought this rusty, beat up, guy. But I could tell it worked because you knew right away. They were like, "That's not how you sound." But I said, "That's how I picture Paul: old, battered, wise, but just he's going to be gruff. He's going to be, and he's all here." Yeah. And that's to me what a good actor does. He makes the character. He comes up with them.
Yeah, and then I really enjoyed that because I even said it afterwards. I was like, I really like the voice you chose for Paul. It really fits. You know what I mean? You and Carl both did that to me. You and Carl both did voices, and I was like, I love this.
I think having Martin and Carl on set is gonna be really nice for the cast. Just because, bringing in the vet, and when I say veteran, I don't mean just in acting. I mean veteran in life. So there's just gonna be different vibes. Didn't be like, dang man, it's my favorite thing about acting is that it's so collaborative. I've been making music for over 10 years. I've never had a better collaborative feel than when I first got on set.
Oh yeah, because it's collaborative storytelling is really what a film is. Because in a book you have one, maybe two people writing it. In a painting you have one person creating this painting. In comic books you have like 5 different people involved. But like in film, I say film, but that can go to television and all that as well. You have upwards of 10 people. You can go all the way up to like 100 people on set, depending on what the project is. And all these people, in a different way, are contributing to this story and to these characters. The character you see on screen isn't just the actor bringing it to life, but it's also the wardrobe person, costume, makeup, director, lighting, editing, color grading. That's the character. The actor's just... I mean, you're doing 80% of the work for the character, but the character is just like this amalgamation of everybody else's vision, and that's what you get on screen. The actor's just the voice and the placeholder for what you see, and that sounds a little demeaning to what an actor is, but that's what people...
It's true. It's a team sport. We're the vessel that brings it out, but if the lighting isn't right, I've had some shit that I've done with the audio sucked to a point where I couldn't even watch it. I'm not going to say any names, but I did
bad audio.
Listen, I can't share it. I can't promote it because I couldn't take it. I said I can't hear what's going on. So.
Oh yeah, I feel you on that. There's some movies that are on Netflix that have bad audio at points, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? They can get distributed.
It's all about those connections. If you know the right people, that's what I've learned. Networking, and that's just like, if you know the right people, because just from all of us connecting right now, you know, tomorrow, who knows who will blow up, and you just like, oh, I need a job. Oh man, I worked with him on South Fine. I would love it. He's a great person. Great, does this. All right, cool. We'll hire him. They might not even do an audition for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, actors.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happened with you and Terry. Like, I happened to just talk to you and knew that you're an actor, and I was like, hey, I got it's not an extra role, but it's like a small speaking role, and I was like, do you want to do this? I'll get it. It's going to be in other features in the future. And you're like, yeah. And I mean, Terry, we worked on a 48-hour film festival together, and like, I cast you for this role, and I was like, hey, you want to be in a movie? And you're like, sure. And I was like, it's paid. And you're like, yeah. Like, that's all it is. And a lot of people fail at networking. And like, that's why I'm blessed that I do this podcast, is like, I've networked with a lot of people. And that might help be why this year has been a lot faster moving than a lot of other people's careers. Yeah. But
networking is the key, man. Now you can't go to Columbia College now with this last group of students without knowing me. Like, they tell people, hey, you need an older dude, Martin Dave, he's your guy. I get reached out, tapped on, email, hey, I work with such and such who work with you. You want to read for this? Or sometimes they'll just cast me. They said, I saw a film that you did with yada yada. You're built for this role. And I'm telling you, the network is strong. So I'm just waiting for you young folks to blow up so I can say, yeah, remember? Just because that's what I do. Don't forget me,
remember me? Remember me over here in Chicago? Remember me?
That's right.
You live in Chicago, Martin?
Yeah, I'm originally from New Jersey, but now I live out in Plainfield, Illinois, which is like 40 minutes from Chicago.
Might as well be Chicago.
I'm in the city. You're not too far from me.
Oh, no, not 40 minutes.
Everybody in Chicago. I'm finna go to Chicago.
A lot of work in Chicago.
There's a lot of work up here. I definitely got a chance. I mean, I think I actually fully really tried to like live up here earlier in this year, or last year. Sorry, because it's 2021. 2020, and legit just like started applying for Chicago PD, man, all that stuff. I was getting jobs. Then COVID hit. COVID left, came right back and started back up, and I was probably booked all November and then half of December, just on different shows. Like, it's just, but like, it's here. You know what I mean? There's extra roles, there's short films, there's feature films. People are doing stuff here.
Yeah, a lot going on in Chicago, definitely.
Hard to do it in Peoria because there's only I only personally know about 2 or 3 people who I've worked with personally and have done a good job that live there. And one of them don't even live in Peoria anymore. And then now this will be my fourth person. So I've been working, most of the directors I work with is the same people.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I only know...
You gotta wait for their next project.
I only know of 2 directors in Central Illinois, and that's me and Ruben. Oh, I guess you can count Dan, too. So me, Ruben, and Dan. But that's it.
Well, you know what? But that brings me to something else. Now, Ruben is somebody that I was auditioning for something that he's about to do. So, of course, now he's seen me in action. So I'm not saying I'm going to get the role, but I stand a better chance. He already knows my vibe. He knows, that I'm serious. It's networking.
I mean, I'm auditioning too, but I'm probably...
Don't jinx yourself.
I'm cast in 3 roles this upcoming year. Speaking roles that are recurring roles in a web series. So, the guy believes in me. I don't know if that's falsely placed or not, but we'll see. We'll see. Clint is just nervous to. I'm just nervous to get my acting chops out there, because
you'll be all right.
I know what I expect from actors, and I'm like, oh man, I don't think I'd cut it for myself. But Martin, you've probably done a feature, right?
Yes, I have.
Casper.
With one out right now called Mary, which is doing phenomenal. That's the one about a COVID nurse. Right. I play her husband in the dynamic. So it was like an hour and 40. Well, no, it's a 45-minute film, but I call it a feature because it was not a short.
Technically, 45 minutes puts it in that feature mark. It just depends on who you ask. Certain festivals are like no. Certain festivals are like yes. I think according to Hollywood, it is a feature. Casper, Terry, have you guys been in features?
This will be my first feature.
Yeah, this would be the first.
Yeah, this is gonna be my first feature too. So let's crush it, guys. The only difference is the amount of time you have, the amount of shooting you have, because we're doing 8 days, 10 to 14 hours a day. You know what I mean? So that doesn't mean everybody is going to be on set 10 to 14 hours a day besides myself.
You are.
I am. I'm going to be living on set. I might as well bring a tent and a sleeping bag. But
I'll be a lot too, just because I really want to get the vibes of I'm doing levels. I want to do I read the script. I want to do the table read, and then I want to do the on set and get all the vibes I can get. So when I write the songs, I really got a good feeling. I wanted to do. I was gonna do it based off of characters like we were talking about, but I'm also gonna think of it as just what was the vibe? What are things that were themes in the film? And I think this is gonna be. I'm gonna have a great time, right?
I mean,
I've never worked with my entire life, so we're gonna have a real fun time.
Oh, it's gonna be great. I'm really excited that you're so passionate about that, how the soundtrack comes across, because some soundtracks it's just these people just wanted a really heavy rock sound. That's what they got. Basically the original Punisher, not the original because the original is Dolph Lundgren, but the Thomas Jane and John Travolta Punisher movie, I feel like most of that soundtrack was just Seether, because the director was I think Seether's a good band for this. But I like that you're really wanting to make it go with that feel, especially since there's a lot of themes that go across this, guilt and family and longing and loss and things like that. That's really awesome. So,
it's a point to dig.
Oh yeah, and so Terry, I almost called you Paul, but you're Martin. Martin.
Yep.
I'm really excited for that scene. We don't have to talk about exactly what it is, but I'm really excited for that. Now, that scene's 9 pages long, so first off, that's a lot to memorize. But, Terry, I can see your face. Are you not... how do you feel about that scene?
You know what? When I first thought about it, I was like, woo. But I won't really know how I feel until it's actually going on. This is just thinking about, tomorrow I gotta, but I can't really call. This is not a concrete feeling, but I want when it's actually happening to look at the person yeah, we're really doing this. that right there is gonna be where I after we go cut, I'm gonna walk over to you and be like, now I feel like and then I'll let you know. But right now, it's like I want to see how this plays out.
Yeah.
I gotta see how this plays out.
This
And
is
I'm
gonna
really
be
trying
intense,
not to say
you know.
too much.
Oh yeah, this scene's gonna be intense, especially like if we don't get it in one take, we're gonna have to like completely change Martin's costume again, completely reset. We're gonna have to like have six of those prosthetics on standby just in case.
Yeah, that's gonna freak the audience out. I'm telling you, that's crazy scene. But I'm looking forward to it. You got to pull off the magic. We'll act it out. But boy, you got some.
That text thread that I sent to Courtney, she's our wardrobe and costumes person. She's also in charge of special effects. I was like, I won't say what it is, but I'll be like, my text message was literally like, hey, can you get me an edible blank? And then, like, her fiance picked up the phone and just looked at it and then handed it to her, and he was like, you talk to some messed up people. So, and then she's like, no. This is movie stuff. And then I told one of my friends, I was just like, yeah, some of the conversations you have in the film industry as a director or a crew member or whatever, it's just weird. Like, for example, if you're like, hey, go grab me that severed head, it's just like, what the hell? Anybody else outside of it would be like, what the hell are they talking about?
Yeah, what?
I thought you'd get a kick out of that scene because it's in context it's really dark, but out of context you're like, this is weird.
I can't wait to see how it all comes together. I love that about movies and TV when it all comes together with the music, the lighting, when you guys do the editing. It's just this mosaic of stuff, man. It's just cool. I fell in love with it. Like I said, just watching my kid do it, I was like, this is for me. I want to do this.
You hit retirement and you're like, I got to get into it. But now, what inspired, I know you said your kid being an actor inspired you to be an actor, and Casper, I think we hit on this in your interview on the channel, but Terry, what inspired you to get into acting?
Not being able to let out certain emotions and people get to see it. Like, you can listen to music and hear me say stuff, but like, it's different if you get to see me act out feeling an emotion.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? Acting will let you actually get away with certain stuff. Like, if they write it, I can actually do it and just be like, oh, I did that already. It's all right. Cool. Like, you can play it off as I did it in the movie, but I got to do it. Like, may not have been as real as I wanted it to be. I just do it.
So you use it as an outlet. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
that's good. Writing originally when I was younger was my outlet, and then it just slowly grew from just writing. Started off as writing lyrics to writing lyrics and poetry because they go hand in hand. They're basically interchangeable at points. And short stories to a novel to out of the blue, I wrote a screenplay in high school. And I had a TV productions teacher, so we had like this whole school news channel and stuff. And I was like, hey, I'd like to do a movie. And he's like, all right, let's make a film club. And then I became the president of the film club. And then I was making a movie. And I was like, oh, cool. So I did that. And then after high school, I got accepted to a college for film. And then they lost their state accreditation. So I never went to film school. And then just out of nowhere, 2020, lockdown, sitting at home, I was like, I'm going to write a script. I wrote the script.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I guess I'll cast it. And then I casted it. And then I made it. And now it's in post-production. And I'm 4 movies in, and I'm just like, well, cool. I guess I'm a scriptwriter and director now.
Let's talk about, bro.
And it was
it's really just about doing. Like, that's kind of like something I always try to push when it comes to my branding and it comes to just me having conversations with people who I work with. I just like, dude, just do it. Like, not even on the stuff, but dead ass, like, just do it. Like,
don't be a talker, be a doer. Yeah.
Don't be a talker, be a doer, because it's easy. It's so easy for us to get in a group of people and say, I'm gonna do this. I'm probably gonna do that. And I think I'm gonna do that. And I know I'm gonna do this. Blah blah. And then do none of it. That's so easy. That's the easy.
I'm
way
the guy you find out about when I'm like, oh, by the way, I directed a movie. Or, oh, by the way, I'm a producer for this movie now. Or, oh, by the way, I have a podcast. I'm 30 episodes in. It's just like, I didn't even know you did that. Oh, yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, a lot of people talk themselves out of doing stuff, or if your inner circle talks you out of it.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, young people, if you got an idea, you run with that sucker. Because if you don't, you'll be I shoulda, I woulda, I coulda.
We just had this conversation. Talk.
I'm telling you, bro, that's how it is. So if you got it, run with it. Because the doers are the ones that make it happen. The naysayers, they'll still be in that same spot 10 years from now, 20 years from now, saying, nah, it can't happen.
Oh, yeah, I got people from high school that are still sitting there talking about they shoulda, they coulda, they woulda, they wanna, and it's just like, I'm just doing it. I don't make the money to properly fund this. I don't. It's just happening. Like, it happens. It happens, and if you put it out there, it'll happen. And the great thing about this community and this film industry is you're surrounded by doers. When you're on set, when you're in production, you're surrounded by doers because we all have the same mindset. We're all like, either Jason Pitts, a cinematographer I've worked with, he was in the film industry, he got talked out of it to go and be an adult, and then 15 years later, he's jumping back in. So, you know what I mean? There's people that have experienced the quitting and coming back. There's the people like me that waited 8 years until there was the right time. And then there's the people that are just like, to hell with it. But we've all done that step of to hell with it and are in it. Like, yeah. And there's some of us that grind harder than others. There's some of us that work harder than others, like any other industry. But at the end of the day, we're all doers. Most of
like
us.
Steve Harvey says you got to jump. At some point, you just got to jump. Because if you don't, you'll sit on the edge forever saying, should I not? Nah, they told me not to. Like, it's and like when is the right time? People say, oh, when's the right time to have a kid?
There's no right time.
Like, you make it happen. Once it happens, you make it. You go with the flow and you do what you want to do.
It's like being on that high dive over the swimming pool. Like, everybody has that gut fear because humans are afraid of jumping from heights because it will kill us. Your brain and body don't understand that that's water down there. Your brain and body understand you're really fucking high up and you're gonna die. So you have to have that feeling to jump. You gotta push yourself to jump. And a lot of people can't push themselves to make that leap. To be like, I'm gonna pursue my dreams. I'm gonna pursue my passion. And, you know, it's great that there are people that aren't like that. I'll be selfish and say that because, you know, I like having people make my food for me. I like having, you know, people sell me things. I like having people at the retail stores. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm glad everybody doesn't pursue their passion. But it's just so depressing when you're, like, in a group of 50 people and you're the only one that's not beaten down working in the corporate world. You know what I mean? Because you know what they do? They attack you. They make you feel like you're the weird one for doing what you want to do.
Yeah, I think there's I can't remember the theory. This is just me being a communication major. I cannot remember the theory off the top of my head right now, but pretty much to me, everyone has their point of where they're going to be in life and they're needed. You know what I'm saying? We need all the to do what they're doing. So it is what it is. I don't always see this. Maybe necessarily people are like beaten down because some people are just cool with being a janitor. Some people are just cool with things that we look down on, quote unquote. But like, you know, at the same time, like
I was a janitor, so I don't look down on it.
You know what I mean? You can't get in a position and not be prepared for job security because you're not going to have that. You have to really be at what you do and be a hard. Like I would honestly say that this is probably the industry that you have the hardest in.
Oh yeah, you got to keep working.
Once you get the corporate job, you still got to work hard. Don't get me wrong, but you could probably get by. And just
you could be average. You
can't just get by.
Yeah, no.
In music, you have to really be working all the time so you can continually have jobs until you're getting paid.
And in this industry, you are the brand. You personally are the brand. So you have to make sure You're on time. You gotta make sure you know your shit. You gotta make sure you do your shit. You gotta keep your word. You don't keep your word in this industry, you're not worth shit.
That's
You're
right.
not. You're not worth anything if you can't keep your word. And, like, I've had people not show up. They've been no-call, no-shows on my projects. And it's just like, okay, that's great. You're never going to work on one of my projects again. I know that doesn't mean much to you because you obviously didn't want to work on my project in the first place, but it's going to mean something when you're wanting to get paid for your work. You know what I mean? Because I was going to pay the person.
Or when they see you blow up and you're like this huge director, and they're like, God, I could have worked with that guy. I could have been in with his crew, you know, but
yeah,
they blew it because they didn't show.
Or ask you about, like, someone just happens to say, hey, do you know this person? Oh, yeah, I had them on my film. They didn't show up. Now you lost another job.
That actually happened to them. They reached out to a director, I won't name him, and they were like, hey, I saw you post something about a person not showing up and they were a makeup artist. Was it this person? And I was like, yep. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to, because everybody in the industry I know, I'm either friends with or friendly with. I want all of us to succeed because that's what my company's thing is. I make art. My company is all about making dreams happen. And even if it's just me getting somebody your way that'll work on your project, that's me helping make your dream happen. You know what I mean? That's all I'm about. Because, what'd you say?
For nowhere, I think that's fair.
Yeah, it's fair. I need to let people know that you're not a good worker because A, if you get a job, you're taking a job away from somebody that is a good worker in this industry, and we're all hungry for work. I don't care how successful you think you are in this industry, we're all hungry for work. Because A, we all feel like crap when we're not on set, and B, we need to be on set to make money. Like, those two things, and I don't know which one's the most important to you, but I like making money from this, and I also like being on set. They're equally great, because the more money I make means, as a director and producer, the more stuff I get to make. The more people I can have, the more people I can help. And that's what's important to me. And I'm glad we all have that mindset of, like, we want to work, we need to work, we don't care about what people think. Like, it's really awesome. I'm running out of questions here. Do you guys have anything you want to talk about?
I think overall, just I'm excited for the project. I'm really interested. As far as my character goes, I'm still trying to, like, learn. It's a short, part, so I want to really kind of, like, kill it real fast. So you're like, oh, yeah, you gotta have. I want to know more about it.
Yeah, I mean, the great thing about your character is he's gonna be in however many other projects there are coming down. He's gonna be in each of them. And the cool thing is like you're kind of like the superhero like. I wrote the character that Jordan's playing as that emotional weight for Toby, the person that's like guiding him and stuff. And your character's like that for everybody else. You're like the good guy that's trying to bring everybody up, you know what I mean? And we all know what happens to those characters in dark, supernatural movies. Bad things don't happen to good people. Like, bad things happen to good people in these types of films. But I'm excited for you as your character, like the ideas you had with your powers and your hair and stuff like that. Like, I didn't even think about that until you talked about it, and I was like, yo, this is dope. He belongs in this character.
I have a couple other ideas I'm gonna run across to you just to kind of really build. Just because, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, one of the things I sit and watch films and be like, dude, I want to dress like that. That'd be so fun. Because I'm not gonna lie, when I was in high school, I would have thought this stuff was nerdy. This was nerdy stuff to me. That's just for geeks. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna lie, because I was a sports guy. Like, why are you acting? That's like, that ain't soft. But, like, honestly, I was always like a artist, so it's like I had my soft side too, because artists are the softest people I know. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really think about it, always that's what we do. Have to push out. Like, you know what I mean? You have to push out.
Yeah, we shedding emotions all the time.
That's all. Yeah. Art is full of. Like, some people don't express themselves well in just your regular conversation, but they'll get on a track or film, and you be like, dude, I would have never guessed him crying. Dude, I would have never guessed that he was going through this when you hear this song. You're like, dude, not the way he carries himself. So it's definitely because we're human, and I think my biggest things about emotion is, like, you keep them in, it's gonna hurt you. So you gotta get them out. hard for me to just like, oh, I'm sad. Like, that's not me. I'm not that human. So it's a lot easier for me to like write a sad song. Now it's gone. That energy's out of my body. I feel great. I'm good.
Oh yeah, and that's what's great about like film too, and like music and any type of art is a lot of people aren't great at expressing themselves. So having some form of outlet like this is good because there's people like you guys, people like me. I don't express myself, period, except for this. You know what I mean? Because I'm always funny. I like to make people laugh. I like to make people happy because I hate feeling bad, so I don't want anybody else to feel bad. You know what I mean? And like sometimes people would say that makes me seem like I don't care, but that's just my way of caring is by making you happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I get that. And like I get that whole soft thing. Like I always thought one of my little brothers is a drama kid. You know what I mean? And I always thought that it was like super soft and all that he was in drama. But now that I'm sitting here, a lot of the actors I know are drama people too, and it's just like, well, I was kind of being judgmental because I myself was in film and that's acting, but drama is just that's acting before screen acting existed. That's original acting. You know what I mean? If anything, he's the real actor, and screen actors are the posers. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. I can't say Ehrin Cass. That's not too
that's not wrong. That's not wrong in that context. You know what I mean? And so, like, I get that, looking at people being soft in a different area and then coming into the future and you're, like, all about what you were making fun of in the past. It, like, comes full circle. You become the person you were laughing at type of thing.
Well, I tell you, I got a lot of respect for the people in the theater that do live stuff because they've been trying to get me to do live. I said, nah, I'm going to stay in my lane because as long as I'm doing TV and film, they can always say, cut, do it again. Once you're out there on that stage, you don't have that luxury, and that's why I'm like, I'm gonna leave that alone for a while. I might get to it at some point, but I'd much rather be film and TV stuff.
I'd never do live anything just because I like my ability to say, cut, scrap that, delete it, let's go.
Just do one for safety, whatever. Yeah, I got you.
I'll do.
Like when you're a performer already, just like music is kind of like, I don't know. I always thought like recently, let me not say always, but recently I'm like, man, it'd be fun to do a musical. Like that'd just be a good time. You know, but it's like, I want a main role. I don't want to be that guy 2 hours.
What? Bro, let's write a musical. What's up? You said it.
I'm writing a stage play right now. So
I'm ready to stage play right now. You know.
Well, I have to admit, I actually did a full-length feature that has some music in it called Bentley, but I do a lip sync thing. I'm like this old-time bartender dealing with these young people, and it's called Bentley. I think it's going to be a phenomenal movie, too. It's a full-length feature, but some of the choreography and the entertainment that young people did, that's going to be good. It's coming out, I think, sometime maybe summer of 2021 called Bentley. So keep an eye out for that. It was dope. It was good.
For sure. Yeah, man.
No,
but
I was gonna comment on what you said earlier, Clint, about how that we become what we were making fun of, right? And I want to go back to what I said earlier. Is just like a lot of times when people are making fun of something, it's because they don't feel like they can do it.
Yeah.
And maybe I didn't know that and think like that, but subconsciously, it's just like maybe at that time I was like, oh, that's weak, that's blah blah blah, and then like here I am like doing it, and I'm like, oh, you know, like I might have wanted to actor this whole entire time.
It could have came from a place of jealousy. Yeah.
And you sometimes just don't know. Your subconscious is a crazy place.
It's a weird place. It does. Your brain doesn't tell you what's actually going on. You got to figure it out yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate you guys taking the time to come and talk. I mean, you guys have anything else you want to talk about before we go?
Yeah, Casper, bruh, what you just brought up a musical, bruh. Just looking at Ehrin pander what that would look like. Just
it'd be fun, bro. I mean, have you
like dance moves, bruh, with the costumes? Say we hitting there and do the what have you done for me? You know, bruh. That'd be crazy, bruh. That'd be crazy. Then just having
borrow. I don't need nothing too crazy because I mean, but I'm a performer, so I think I think that's one of those moments,
Right.
like Martin said, I'm just overthinking. I'll probably be able to go up there and be up there for 2 hours. It'd be great.
I was seeing you like tear stage up, bro. I'm tired. Like this Cass got. Go ahead, bro. You got it. Whew. Whew. And he's still up there doing it. I'm like, bro, I've been at it for like 20 minutes. Go ahead, man.
It take a
Like,
lot. Yo, you gotta work.
For real, bro. Like we got half of it started right here. The idea is in the air. You got
I'll direct it for you. Yeah, I'll
You
write
got
it for
the
you.
OG right here. The quarter, he step out to the window and hit have a flashback again. We used to do that, and you got the down look of it's you right there. Then the song start, and you something, and walk up to me, and I something. Then we hop into the steps like what? Come on, bro.
It all starts with a great idea.
I mean,
That's
we got the idea. We actually have the idea being live streamed everywhere, so we have to follow through now that everybody knows this is being talked about.
But if you seen the baby's video
right now, I don't care who it is. I saw that you saw.
thing like that. But see, the crazy part is only we could pull it off. Like he was saying, only we could pull it off the way it be pulled off.
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
Dude, before the last thing I'm gonna say, because you're gonna keep getting me into all this psychological stuff. You know how I get out. But legit, like I used to get into my head a lot about like people taking my ideas, like like it's like, man, people want to take my ideas, or like they're gonna try to act like me, or people copy what you do. And I started thinking, like, man, like it's true. Like they can't you can do.
Nobody do like Casper.
I steal somebody's song, right? I take someone's song and I get famous off of it. Now what? You can't make that song again.
No. And
So,
imitation's just the cousin of flattery. Like it's just imitation and flattery are the same thing. So there's that, and also nobody knows what's in your head about the project. Like we could sit here be talking about a musical. That's great. Yeah. They don't have the actual idea. You know what I mean? Or like you can take a log line. It's kind of like movies. Like people post log lines all the time. It's like, yeah, you have 2 sentences of what the 95-minute feature is going to be. You don't have any of the project. You basically have the shortest synopsis in the world. You know what I mean?
It was dark outside.
That was it. It was dark outside. He was alone. I mean, that'll go anywhere. But I really appreciate you guys coming and talking with me. You know, I'll probably do another one with you guys, not the same group, but another group after we get funded. You know, probably do this 2 more times for the feature. You know, for during production, for after production. You know what I mean? And you know, for everybody wondering when the crowdfunding starts, the first day of crowdfunding starts on Indiegogo, February 12th. We'll be posting links, the whole cast and crew. We're going to be sharing the link to that, sharing updates about it. Make sure you go and follow ParaGenex Shadow of the Mind on Facebook. And you know, you can also follow R&R Film Productions, LLC, now that I have that LLC license, on Facebook as well. You can follow Casper Alexander, his singer-songwriter Facebook page as well. And Terry, I forget what yours is. Do you have one for the Real Black Efron?
That's it. The Real Black Efron. That's it right there.
Yep, you can follow the Real Black Efron on Facebook. Martin, do you have an actor page or no?
Well, no, to my Instagram, mdavis7000. You can keep up with everything I'm doing on that. And
I'm sure Terry and Casper's is the same thing on Instagram as well. Is yours Chai Songwriter on Instagram?
CHI Songwriter. You can search me on social media. You can search me on streaming. It's going to be everywhere. You can Google it. Everything will come up. You good.
And the Real Black Efron everywhere as well?
The one Real Black Efron.
Ah! All right. Well, you guys, you have a wonderful night. I'll talk to you guys probably tomorrow for the script read-through we have. And, you know, everybody watching this, just be sure to keep a lookout because I got every Tuesday and Thursday different people involved with the project until February 12th. After that, we'll take a break from the podcast for this for a little bit, go back to the normal format. Then we'll go in for post-production conversations. Hey, I might just do the same groupings for post-production, see how everybody feels about that. All right, guys. Well, you have a good night. Thank you, everyone, for stream.